Now, if we go back around the time of this year's NBA draft, we look at guys that make videos on YouTube, we look at TV networks, ESPN, Fox Sports. Just about everyone had Cam Whitmore in their top 5, bare minimum top 10 when it came to selected draft picks. And when we get around to NBA draft night, I actually thought that he was going to go 5th overall to my Detroit Pistons, but the Pistons shocked me and they went and drafted the other Thompson twin, Asor Thompson. So I thought surely Cam Whitmore was going to be either the 6th, 7th, or maybe even the 8th overall pick. But after that 5th overall selection, he just continued to drop and drop and drop. And what was so crazy about that, the NBA draft, they had this little graphic at the bottom, and it says best available player. And the name right there for at least 15 picks was Cam Whitmore, and it was just crazy seeing all the teams skip over him. And at the time, nobody knew why. And it came out days later that Cam Whitmore has a pretty serious knee issue that was scaring teams away. But because of that scariness, we may have made a mistake by letting the Houston Rockets get their hands on Cam Whitmore, because that's where he fell all the way to the 20th overall pick. And the Houston Rockets once again were blessed in this year's NBA draft, as they had the 4th overall pick, who was the other Thompson twin that I just mentioned, Amen Thompson. And then they get the 20th overall pick and they're able to get Cam Whitmore. Now, what I've been seeing from Cam Whitmore in the preseason has been pretty promising, and he hasn't put out no crazy games or no crazy stat lines, but what he has shown so far in the preseason is the glimpses of the potential of why he was projected to be a lottery pick or a top 10 pick in this year's NBA draft. And that's what we're going to talk about today, how special Cam Whitmore can be in this league one day. And just to give you guys a little bit of insight to what Cam Whitmore has done so far statistically in the preseason, like we established in the intro, really no eye-popping numbers. He hasn't gone out and dropped 30, 40 points, but it's what we're actually seeing out on the court. But he's played 3 games so far against the San Antonio Spurs. He dropped 15 points, had a bit of a rough shooting night, 5 for 15 from the field. It was really the 3-point line where he struggled from, where he went 1 for 7. Against the New Orleans Pelicans, didn't really play that many minutes, around 9, 10. He goes 3 for 8 from the field and drops in 8 points. And then his best game of the preseason statistically came against the Indiana Pacers, where he dropped 15 points, but he was extremely efficient, as he goes 6 for 10 from the field and 3 for 4 from the 3-point line. So that's pretty impressive. But what I'm really high on is what I'm seeing from Cam Whitmore. With my eyes, he's really flashing that potential and showing why he was mocked to go so high in this year's NBA draft. So I think there's really 2 things that make Cam Whitmore so special, and we're going to talk about both of those things. But number 1 is his physical gifts and his athleticism. Leaving the 2023 NBA Combine, Cam Whitmore was marked at 6'7", and he weighs a lean 234 pounds, and that is very perfect for today's NBA, because you can throw him around in so many different spots on the defensive side of the ball. But back to that athleticism, not only does he has the physical gifts as far as his frame, but he can also jump out of the gym. Leaving the 2023 NBA Combine, he had the 3rd highest vertical leap out of all of his classmates with 40.5 inches. So he can jump out of the gym. And we look at Cam Whitmore, his athleticism as of right now is really what opens up his offensive game. And don't get me wrong, Cam Whitmore is really a raw prospect on the offensive side of the ball. A lot of his offensive game isn't developed yet when it comes to making moves and getting to his mid, because he can shoot the mid-range shot, but he has to develop those moves to get to his spot. It's going to be a little bit harder at the NBA level, but right now his athleticism allows him to do a lot on the offensive side of the basketball, and him having pretty decent ball control. He's really good in the open court, driving the basketball in transition. He can get to his left hand, he can get to his right hand, and he's a really, really good finisher. He can make tough contested layups, and he also is athletic to get up and punch it on you. And then also in the half court, he has an elite quick first step, and those guys with those quick first steps are some of the hardest guys to guard in the NBA, especially when you have a guy that you have to respect his jumper. Now Cam Whitmore, I would say that right now he's a capable three-point shooter. It's gonna be up and down like we've seen so far in the preseason. One game he goes 3 for 4 from the three-point line, and then 2 games later he goes 1 for 7. But I think it's definitely something that defenses are gonna have to respect. And also, the mid-range shot, he has that in his bag. He shoots that very confidently. But offensively, I like Cam Whitmore a lot right now because he, like I said, the athleticism, it allows him to do a lot. Right now, I would probably say he's stronger and faster than about 70-80% of the players in the NBA. So his athleticism is definitely there, and I think there's just a few skills that he needs to hone on the offensive side of the ball. Just become a more consistent three-point shooter. That's something that comes with time, and then work on his shot creation. If he can become a guy that can put together a move or two and get to his mid-range spots while still having the thought having that thought in the back of the defender's mind that he can beat you downhill getting to the rim, it will make him a much more dangerous basketball player. And I also think Cam Whitmore can become a bit of a more, not even a better playmaker, but just a better passer. We've seen him in the summer league. In the preseason, he could get a little bit of tunnel vision when it comes to scoring the basketball, but I think those are things that tend to go away as you become a more mature basketball player. But you got to remember, he's just 18, 19 years of age right now, so that's he's super young. And then the other thing that I think makes Cam Whitmore such a special prospect, and why the Houston Rockets did get another steal in this year's NBA draft, is just that he's going to be a really versatile defender, and we all know how important that is in today's NBA. Now, Cam Whitmore is going to be your perfect ideal defender for today's NBA because we know a lot of it in today's offensive scheme. Everyone is just trying to mismatch hunt. Everyone is trying to get the worst perimeter defender on the best perimeter offensive player, or vice versa, get the worst interior defender on the best offensive interior player. So that's what about 70-80% of offensive sets is nowadays, trying to find that mismatch. And when you have a guy like Cam Whitmore, who's 6'7", 234 pounds, and he's as strong as an ox, you can literally put him in so many different places on the defensive side of the ball. He can be an on-ball defender. He has great lateral quickness. He has great defensive instincts. So I can see him guarding wing players. I can see him guarding point guards. And then also, if you've been watching Cam Whitmore in the preseason, in the summer league, he is a great help defender. He does a great job of rotating down around the rim, helping out contesting interior shots and rebounding the basketball, and he is a ball hawk in the passing lanes. I believe it was like one summer league game where he had about 8 or 9 steals, and all of those led to easy transition buckets. So looking at Cam Whitmore, I think he's going to be coming into the NBA his rookie season. He's definitely going to be able to make an impact on both the offensive and the defensive side of the ball. So I think the Houston Rockets should be really excited about Cam Whitmore. And then also, I just think this situation is so perfect. Like I said, Cam Whitmore, I think he definitely is more of a project player. And when I say that, he has all the raw talent in the world. He has the athleticism. He has the NBA body. But we talked about it. He just needs to hone some more basketball and some more offensive skills with his decision making and his passing, and then just his shot creation. But the great thing about the Houston Rockets is that they do have time for that, because they went out and made some moves this offseason, bringing in Dylan Brooks, bringing in Fred VanVleet, and then they also were able to draft Amen Thompson. And then you have guys that were already there: Tari Eason, Alperen Sengun, Jabari Smith Jr. So there's not going to be an extensive amount of pressure for Cam Whitmore to come in and have to live up to being a top 5 pick, because he has a really good core a really good core group of guys around him. So the Houston Rockets should be really excited about getting Cam Whitmore, and then the 19 teams that passed up on him, they may be regretting that, but we will see in the near future. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment down below if you agree or disagree, and then subscribe for more weekly content. We do this all the time, man, and that's curtain.